Nico Hoerner made his full season debut back in 2022 after a couple stints with the big club, and since that season he has played at least 135 games every single year, with his lowest WAR total being 3.7, averaging about 30 steals a season, and never once being a below average bat. Oh, yeah, and did I mention he's also won 2 Gold Gloves and been one of the best advanced defenders and base runners in the entire sport on a year-to-year basis? Sure, he doesn't hit for a ton of power, but the dude is certifiably one of the most valuable second basemen in the sport today. Period. With this context, I'll ask you, how many times do you think he's been elected to the All-Star game? The answer is 0. Further, what would you say if I asked you where his spot was on the top 100 players in the sport list? The answer, quite similarly, is nowhere. He's not even on it. And lastly, if I asked you what his rank was amongst all players at his position, what would you say? Probably something like at least top 5, right? But no, he's 8th. I don't think I've ever seen a player quite as disrespected in the modern era as Nico Hoerner, and I'm going to explain why. First of all, the All-Star thing. I guess it is just a popularity contest, so it does make sense that somebody like Nico, who doesn't hit a lot of home runs or really do anything too flashy at the plate, doesn't get the same attention as some of the other players at his position. That still, however, is no excuse for why he's never been considered for the game in other capacities, like as a replacement or just a manager selection. But overall, I do consider this one more irritating than incomprehensible. The top 100 players thing, though, is just downright ludicrous. Here are his numbers stacked up to some notable players that were put on the list ahead of him. Now, I'm not trying to shade any of these other guys, but just take a look. He had pretty much better numbers across the board than Steven Kwan, who, in my opinion, is almost like a worse version of the same build, and he well outpaced Suzuki and Suarez in terms of overall value per every major evaluator. And I'm sorry, why are 2 dudes who had roughly a third as much value in Herrera and Churio being considered above him enough to exclude him from inclusion? There's honestly a bunch of other examples you could look at as well, but I'll just leave it at that. It is, on its face, ridiculous, and another example of outright disrespect towards the Chicago middle infielder. And while I will say that both of these things, because of their scope, are probably worse in a vacuum in terms of disrespect, they might not be quite as nonsensical as his recent ranking amongst MLB's top second basemen. He finished behind players like Jose Altuve, Marcus Semien, Brendan Donovan, Tyler Fitzgerald, and Brandon Lau. Like I did with the top 100 players, here's his production versus all of theirs in 2025. He not only was the best player among those in consideration, but by a significant margin. And for those of you that may say I'm engaging in a bit of recency bias, here are his numbers since 2023 compared to everybody else's. He's first in total value, games played, hits, and stolen bases. Not even top 5? And I'm sorry, behind somebody like Tyler Fitzgerald, who's never even registered 100 games played in a season at the big league level as a 27-year-old? Hopefully this video serves as some kind of acknowledgement of the absolute elite play he's been putting up season after season, because it doesn't seem like he's going to get it from anywhere in the industry. Alright everybody, if you made it this far, I appreciate you watching, and if you did, consider checking out any of these other videos on your screen right now for other content just like this. Also, if you ever see anything you'd like to see me detail in the video, feel free to reach out to my email, basebpoet@gmail.com, and if I end up using your idea, I'll give you a shout out. Thanks for watching. Have a great rest of your day.